This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 23, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across all social media channels. And I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Hogstein Network on audio and here on YouTube on video. Well, Matt, I saw the opening lines, Kansas City at Washington on Sunday. Opened up, Kansas City was minus 7.5. They're now down to 6.5. And it opened 50.5 points and now went to 55. That's a big jump on an over-under in just a day. So they figure if Kansas City is going to score a lot. People are like, oh, I'll give 6.5 in Kansas City. Yeah, it's called a trap play, and Vegas is not suckers. I don't know it's weird how they're good at this. But if I had to throw money down, yes, I would take the Chiefs minus 6.5. I guess I'd probably take the over 55 because Washington can still score.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a reckoning game. The Chiefs are desperate at 2-3. But they have so much speed. If you watch, they've been losing to teams like Buffalo. That was a really good game. Kansas City's got great speed in the passing game. And they'll just run by Washington the way Washington goes. They're basically saying we're waving to people anyway as they go by.
Yeah.
Bye, see you at the goal line, but
the Chiefs have lost to the Bills, the Ravens, and I believe the Chargers. Those are three pretty dang on good teams. One of them, which we've seen, or actually two of them that we've already seen. So, I'm sure the line moved because a couple guys got injured yesterday. Tyreek Hill had a slight knee injury. Kelsey went out with a stinger. I mean, they're still fast. They're still fast. You still have Patrick Mahomes. And they just picked up Josh Gordon. My DFS play for the week is pick up Josh Gordon because it's always the third or fourth wide receiver that kills us. Look at week 2 or what was it? Week 3 against Buffalo. Week 4. It's just these Cordero Patterson types, Emmanuel Sanders, big return guys that are, decent wide receivers have their best game of their career probably against the Washington defense this year. So definitely go for Josh Gordon this week.
Yeah. Well, I'll be wearing red and pretend I'm Andy Reid later since people ask me this all the time.
If it's only it was closer to Halloween.
Yeah, it's Andy Reid week. I can just watch my videos online. You'll see them. I just don't see any way Washington wins this game. But then again, remember last year, what was Pittsburgh? 10-0, 11-0?
Yeah, 11-0.
And they beat them. So you never know in the NFL. That's the great part of that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't bet my money on this. It's just,
I think we know.
I mean, it's just after a while, you're like, man, what is going on?
Remember the scenario last year with Pittsburgh with the COVID and they had the late game get pushed. I think they played on a Wednesday and then they had to turn around and play against us the following Thursday. Like there was they had a couple things up against them last year, but yeah, this is definitely a game that I can clearly see this going over 55 because I think the Chiefs could probably score about 45, 50 on their own. And, Washington, I mean, they're scoring points. They're scoring, anywhere from 20 to 30 points a game. So.
Well, there's one way that Washington can win this game, and that is you ignite that front four defensive line and put dynamite behind them and make them run like crazy people. That's the only way they can win this game because if they can't pressure Mahomes in any way, and they didn't really pressure Winston. I know people said, Chase Young got his first sack. It was a covered sack. Mm-hmm. He was on his third read when Chase got to him. Mm-hmm. But unless they do that, man, they are naked and afraid in that back seven. It's just going to be ugly. If they win the coin toss, for God's sake, take the ball first.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I know the Chiefs' main focus this year was to upgrade their offensive line, which they did. They got some pretty good players. But you still have Mahomes. I mean, it's another mobile quarterback. Look what Josh Allen did to this team. He ate them alive. It's probably going to be just as bad, And now, honestly, looking forward, I mean, look, but you play the Chiefs. You got Green Bay in there. I know they got to play Seattle, but Russell Wilson supposedly out for a couple weeks. You may be able to steal a game there because their defense isn't much, but there ain't many wins coming on this schedule. So,
What's the worst? What's the worst score? Kansas City or Green Bay game?
Green Bay seems to be playing pretty close games. I know they went into overtime with Cincinnati yesterday. I think the Chiefs' offense is just it's too damn fast. It's too fast and they're too productive. I mean, Mahomes is either going to come away with a touchdown or a field goal, and he's lost to good defenses this year. We don't have a good defense right now.
Yeah. All right. So Taylor Heineke played his worst game.
Mm-hmm.
I had said from the start, I thought Taylor Heineke would be a good number 2 and spot starter, but don't leave him out there forever. But I was going to give him a chance. What the heck? There's nothing else to do. Let's see what he can do over time. And over time, teams are figuring him out more. He doesn't have the arm, and he's throwing late, which just has defenders ready for the ball. And he said yesterday, I thought I played pretty well aside of two pickoffs. Well, okay, sure. We can all do those kind of things. I run a fast 40 if you don't count the first 39 yards. Last yard, I'm there. So you can't pick stats like that. Anytime I do that, like I go, well, he ran for 109 yards, but he had 43 on one play. The other 12 were, people go, no, you have to count them all. Well, we're going to count all the interceptions.
Yeah.
Well, and it's he's making. Is he getting better? I don't know. Is this team getting better every week? No. I don't see improvement on this team, which goes to coaching on there. That or you got really dumb players, and then that goes to personnel department for getting it. But they're not dumb. They're not overrated so much as they're underperforming.
Yeah.
But in Taylor's point, I think he's giving you what he has. It's just that he doesn't have it forever. And I wonder if they got to go Kansas City, Green Bay, Denver, bye. By the bye, you might, if they're 2-6, which is very possible, you might go to Allen at that point and say, hey, we gave Taylor a chance. Ron doesn't like to change players often, but quarterbacks are a different animal. I could see them making a change at the bye. At least let them play a few games before you get to that last 5-game division run. Because if there's any miracle you're going to do, it's there. That's where you're going to go for the 5 wins somehow. I don't think you win them, but that's your only play at that point.
Yeah, and I don't see Kyle Allen leading us on a Todd Collins like run. But going back to something you said earlier, the two units I think that have actually performed where we thought they were, or maybe even a little bit better, has been the running back position. I think Gibson is given what we've thought he could be, and I think the offensive line has played very well. Now we saw Cosme go down, and it's your annual Brandon Sheriff's on IR for a couple games scenario, but aside from some mistakes yesterday, I know Shadiq Charles came in and had a stupid penalty. He's paying homage to his boy Morgan Moses. I think the offensive line has played very well, especially in pass protection and run and opening up nice lanes. I mean, there was I think was it this week or it might have been last week. There was a monster block by Cosme to spring the running back for the touchdown. But one thing that I was very surprised about, and I think that they'll need to do this more against the Chiefs, is you need to employ JD McKissick more. You saw what he did against Atlanta, and then he just disappeared against the Saints. You're gonna have to do those quick, not 3-step drops, but the quick get the ball out of Heineke's hands and throw to your backs and tight ends or screens to McLaurin. And I would like to see JD McKissick more involved in the passing game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think at some point you've got to figure out, I laughed when Rivera said, we only have 53 players. And I laughed, you only have 53 players. You do have a practice squad too, that you can move up a lot easier than before. How many players do you need at some point? But you just need the ones that are playing to play better. It's just ridiculous. All right, we're finally getting to the sport I know you're happiest to say. The NHL is open this week, and Ovechkin, I don't know, did he look suddenly old? He hurt his hip or something in the game. NHL never tells you injuries. They just say upper or lower body.
Yeah,
but, he was clearly hurt,
mm-hmm.
and you thought, ooh, this is not the way you want an older player like him to start a season, because then they don't ever seem to get back to full strength. And without him, Caps are dead men.
Well, and
But,
Backstrom might be out for the entire season. He had hip surgery, so he might be gone. Look, I mean, I've said it for a couple of years now, but I think this year it's more evident than ever. You know, the league is shifting from Ovechkin and Crosby. Crosby's not going to miss the first couple, maybe even the first month of the season with a wrist surgery. Malkin's out for a while due to surgery. Ovechkin's hurt. Backstrom's hurt. The league is making the shift from Crosby, Ovechkin to McDavid and Eichel and Austin Matthews. I mean, there's young guys, Tarasenko, the guy in Colorado, who's a beast. I can't think of his name right now. The youth movement is coming back in the NHL as to where it was, your Crosby's, Ovechkins, Kane, Taves, guys like that. It's now shifting. I mean, Jonathan Taves hasn't played in 2 years for Chicago, and we don't even know if he's able to play anymore. You know, it's just guys like that they're getting phased out and the young guns are coming back in. Now, you know, honestly, Ovechkin has surprised me over the past couple seasons. I mean, you know, and I know he wants that Gretzky goal record, so he's going to play as long as he possibly can. I don't know if he'll get that record, but it'd be kind of cool if he did. I mean, I'm not a Capitals fan, as I've said many times on this show, but it'd still be neat to see a record broken that you never thought would be broken. And especially in the ways that the NHL has changed. I mean, the NHL was such an offensive game back when Gretzky played to now, you know, the goaltenders are bigger, stronger, faster, you know, and the goaltenders are more, you know, are well known as to where they weren't that way in the past. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. You know, this division, you still have to worry about these up and coming teams like the Islanders are going to stay pat. You know, your Washington Capitals and your Penguins are, you know, maybe as they're getting older, they're going to fall further down in the division.
What about the Kraken? They're playing this year, right?
The Kraken are 700 plus 700 to win the Stanley Cup, if I'm not mistaken. They have pretty decent odds.
Did they follow the Vegas path?
No,
You know?
no. As to where Vegas, well, they did the draft the same way. They did the draft where you took, you know, a player from each team and everything like that. But they didn't follow the model that McPhee did out in Vegas, where McPhee took stars. McPhee took guys that, you know, would come in and make an instant impact. I mean, he got a Marc-Andre Fleury to be your starting goaltender. Like, he got guys that are well known, but he also got guys that were older that the other teams didn't have a problem exposing, as to where the Kraken took more youth. The Kraken went with a youth movement that, you know, maybe they're going to build up and maybe be contenders in the next couple of years, as to where being good immediately. I don't know. I think that the Vegas model worked pretty well because, you know, Vegas was not known to be a sports town. I mean, the Golden Knights were the first professional team in Las Vegas. You know, obviously you had UNLV, but, you know, and now look, the NFL's followed suit with the Raiders move. I've heard rumblings of an NBA team moving out there. I mean, you know, they had to be good from the start. Seattle is a market that actually used to have a hockey team. They haven't in a while, but, you know, who knows?
Who was their hockey team?
I'd have to remember, but there was a team out in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, way back.
What I loved about Vegas is they would start the conga line inside the casinos to get people to come follow them to the stadium and play there.
Yeah.
It's
an impressive stadium too, from what I've seen.
Yeah, the football stadium is really not. It's sort of at the south end of the strip, near Luxor, which is kind of near the end of the strip, but it's not that far away.
Yeah, but T-Mobile Arena is multi-purpose. I mean, I believe it. Is it connected to the casino?
Yeah.
See, but T-Mobile's multi-purpose. It was actually built for a concert venue, and they had hoped that they could get a hockey team, but it was a concert venue, and of course, UFC and boxing.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to go indoors. Although it's funny, I was at the Washington football team game. We're in the press box, and we have to wear masks inside the box, and people in the crowd don't.
Right.
I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.